It's 28 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida, 15 in Wrexham, 16 in Black Rock Island. This is TealTalk. I'm Jay Lawrence, still no relation. This is Kee Ramsuran. How are you?
I'm very well, Jay. You smell really nice.
First podcast in person.
It's lovely.
You're shorter than I thought. This is the official podcast for the UK and Ireland from your game-winning Jacksonville Jaguars.
They need to wear those throwback jerseys every week, mate.
Can I say how good that feels to be able to say that as well? And what a... And actually, I feel like, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but I think that every Jacksonville Jaguars fan will be feeling the same way. What a sigh of relief that you felt when that field goal went through those uprights.
Why did they leave it that long, Jay?
And even then the Colts could have go back into it. We'll get into it in a second, but you know, what a relief it feels to be able to say, you know, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they are no longer winless. They've got a win in the books, and it could not have come at a better time as well. Now look, we're going to be joined in this episode, Kee, from Duval County by the Jaguars kicker and Kee's man crush, the man that Kee will not stop talking about, Cam Little, one of the heroes of the win against the Colts, of course. The hero of the win. If the Jags had lost, you'd still say that he was the hero, to be honest, wouldn't you? Soon to be jetting to the UK, of course. Plus, we're going to be graced by JP Shadrick, the Joyce of the Jaguars, who is in London already, ahead of the games in London, and soon to be jetting to the UK, of course. Plus, we're graced by JP Shadrick, the voice of the Jags, our Jaguars inside. He's actually already in the UK. Plus, all the information that you need for what it's essentially going to be actually a really busy couple of weeks if you're a Jags fan. Player signings, pub parties, all the fun, of course, of the Jags London double header. Open practice, of course. Open practice as well. All ahead of the double header, which is starting with the Chicago Bears away at Spurs on Sunday. We'll talk about the Bears, of course, as well in this game. Look, in this show even, it's going to be busy, but all for good reasons. We've got to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've got to talk about their win against the Indianapolis Colts. The way that I like to see this, Kee, is they just did it for the drama. Do you know what I mean? They just did it for the drama. Yeah,
I'm 43 now, Jay, and I have to start thinking about my poor heart. Okay?
They just thought, do you know what? How can we make this as entertaining as possible?
Mate. That fourth quarter, do you know what? At the end of the third, I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling like, could they? And then that fourth quarter, oh my word. It was, honestly, white knuckles at the end of it. It was really, really hard watch. And then, was it 17 seconds left for Cam Little's?
Yeah, it might have been a bit more than that. It was within the minute anyway, yeah.
Like, absolutely superb. And I was worried that recording the podcast today, I wouldn't have a voice left, because it was like 5 weeks of shouting with joy just came out. It was fantastic, man.
37-34, the win at the bank. Retro jerseys, looking unbelievable. I mean, we spoke about this last week. Unbelievable, but as you say, at the end of the third quarter, it was 2010. So a lot happened in that fourth quarter. I mean, there's part of me that thinks, I don't know if I can deal with overtime. I don't know if I can deal with this, to be honest with you. But do you know what? Credit to the team, because we've been saying for so long, we just need to see them. We need to see cohesion with the team, don't we? We need to see them sort of come together. We need to see Trevor Lawrence do what we know that Trevor Lawrence can do. Best game of the season, 28 for 34, 371 yards, 2 touchdowns, career high in passing yards. Yeah. And the most important bit, on his birthday.
I know, isn't that lovely?
Yeah, on his birthday.
Isn't that a 5,000-yard touchdown on his birthday? Absolutely lovely.
You know, we saw Christian Kirk come into it, 61-yard dime to Christian Kirk in the fourth quarter. I mean, we're getting boring. I kind of feel like if you're listening to this podcast, like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you're thinking, why do they keep going on about Brian Thomas Jr.? But there is a reason why we keep going on about Brian Thomas Jr.
He's changed Trevor's options this season, and so far it hasn't led to a victory. So it leading to a victory now, it's like we've been saying it because that has been the highlight, because they haven't been winning, and now it's happened and they've won. Like, that's why we've been talking about it. It's because of
fast man as well. Fast man, top speed, 22.1 miles per hour. That, which is actually, when you take a step back, mental. Like, that is mad.
That's as fast as a car.
That is, obviously. That's a stupid sentence, Kee. Stupid. A car can go that fast. That's the fastest.
No, he's going as fast
right, I
as
understand that, but like, you know. Anyway, that's the fastest that anybody has run in the NFL this season. I think I read actually somewhere that it's something like the fourth fastest time in the NFL over the last 4 or 5 years.
Amazing.
I think I need to check that stat, to be honest with you. But he's not the only person we need to speak about. Trayvon Walker, first 3-sack game, you know, and actually he had loads of moments as well in that game. We could just go through the whole team. We can go through the whole team. All the big components, these big players that we have been saying we need to stepped up in this game. Now, the one thing I would say is, Trayvon Walker, you know, he had a good game. We saw Tank Bigsby do really well as well with 2 touchdowns as well.
Broke 100 yards. Right?
Yeah, he broke 100 yards, which means that now the Jags have got these two great running options, but still, as much as, you know, special teams came together as well, which is a really brilliant thing. 34 points conceding isn't going to make you're not going to win a game every week if it's 34. If you
24 of those in the fourth
quarter as well. Yeah,
that was a painful.
Which was the concern. Is that's what what we were saying. Like that's where we thought, are they going to do what they've? It's almost not exactly the same way, but it's happened over the last few quarters.
Yeah. Did you see Coach Nielsen's face in that fourth quarter? His reaction to one of the touchdowns was, it was like watching the life drain out of someone. It was, honestly, 24 points in that fourth quarter.
We need to bask in the optimism, though, I think, especially now ahead of the 2 games in London. This is the first time that the Jacksonville Jaguars have won a game before coming to London. Did you know that?
That can't be true.
It's true.
Oh, wow.
0-10 they were before this.
No way.
Yeah, so 1-11, I suppose. They're now.
Okay.
Maths. Yeah, 1-11.
Amazing.
They are now. Yeah, so that is actually a really... I mean, it might be nothing, it might mean nothing, but I imagine that like the mentality of your team, getting on a plane, going over to the UK for a week, in this case, 2 weeks, that might make a big difference actually. And Trevor Lawrence and the rest of the players, obviously they would never experience that before, so that's an amazing thing. Cam Little, he hit the game-winning field goal. I mean, we'll hear from him in just a second, but actually I'm just going to shut up for a second. I just want you to just tell me how you feel about Cam Little today.
Have I ever talked about Cam Little on this podcast before? Cam Little doing anything I'm a big fan of, but the amount that I was rooting for him to hit that, and on social media afterwards he was like right down Main Street, and it couldn't have been a better kick. It was just absolutely fantastic seeing him do that, and I want to see him grow in confidence and like come over here and just keep doing it week after week after week. I think he deserves it.
Kee, I think it's fair to say that he is very excited about coming over here. Yeah. Very, very excited. Let's hear it from Cam Little, kicker of the Jacksonville Jaguars and game winner as well. The kicker of the Jacksonville Jaguars, the game winner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cam Little, man, how's it going? How are you feeling?
It's going well. Obviously, I'm super excited to get the win yesterday. So vibes are good around the facility going into London. And man, I've had this trip circled on my calendar for forever now. So I'm so excited to get over there.
Oh, don't worry. We will be talking London in just a minute, but we can't skate over what happened at the end of that game. Walk-off field goal win. I mean, not only is this your first win as a Jacksonville Jaguar, this is the first game that you closed out, with your field goal. I mean, tell me, picture this, right? So you woke up this morning and you realized, that wasn't a dream. How did it feel?
Yeah, it was crazy. And no, it all happened so fast that you don't really have time to think. And like my main goal out there is to, especially going into high pressure situations, is to kind of don't think about, like, you can't think about it at that point. You're either going out there to make it or miss it. So there's no gray area between, making or missing a field goal. So you just got to go out there. And I mean, that's obviously why I'm employed here and why I'm a part of the team, is to go out there and put 3 points on the board for our team. And so after it happened, it was a good, not sigh of relief, but it was so exciting, because we knew we were going to get that W, and to see the, smile on my teammates' faces and the whole coaching staff, to know all that hard work we've been putting in and it finally paying off, was unreal.
How did you celebrate?
Oh, I didn't do anything last night, actually. I went to go get sushi by the beach, and here we are at work the next day, ready to get packed for London.
I mean, I'm not going to lie, being in a very wet London right now, sushi by the beach does sound like a good celebration to me. Look, I know that you're a big our football fan, like a soccer fan, and I
Yeah,
kind of think, we'll talk about that in a sec, but when it comes to like field goals, that pressure of, a field goal in that situation, the best example I can give is like in a penalty shootout,
pin. Yeah,
exactly like, and in soccer, there's the whole mind games to it, isn't there? There's the whole like, walking up to it, you've got
yeah.
the time before it. It's the best example that I can give. So talk to me about like what you tell yourself. I know you say that you haven't got much time to think, but surely there's like moments in your mind that you're just trying to, work out, okay, how can I put myself in this best situation?
Yeah, 100%, especially if weather becomes a factor.
Mm,
You have to like yesterday was a little windy and it was wet outside, obviously. And so when you have elements like that, you want to think about that a little more because at that point you're not just trying to kick the ball straight. Like you've got to okay, I need to kick it a little more left so the wind will take it back right and stuff like that. So if there is elements, obviously I like to think about that before I'm going out there and there's a lot more thought going into my kick when I'm going out there. But if it's indoors. I like to pick a spot behind the uprights, especially when I take my 3 steps back. I'll look at a spot usually in pregame. That's one of the things I do is I like to go through all the hashes and pick spots behind the uprights to be aiming at, depending on what location I'm kicking the ball at. So those are kind of the thought processes. I'm going back to the ball, but after that, I practiced it so much. We rep it so many times. It's like second nature. Like I mean, you can tell when Ronaldo goes out there for a free kick, he's got the same thing he does, same stance he does, same deep breath before he hits it. So it's like it's very similar in that aspect of okay, he's done it so many times. Let's just repeat what he's been doing at practice. So it's kind of similar in that sense.
I mean, we'll talk about London next then, I guess. I mean, do you believe in momentum? How much is this going to make a
Yeah, I think
difference?
momentum is such a big thing. And I mean, you can say it in soccer as well. Momentum is a big thing, but when you get into football, it's even more so. Like you've seen, I mean, the past, what was it, 2022 when they went on a long win streak. Last year when we went on a long win streak as well. So momentum is important going into London. I think going 0-5 in London would make things a lot harder than what it is, and the trip might have not been as, people wouldn't have been as loose. So I think momentum is a big factor in American football. I think it gives you confidence going into, I mean, obviously we're going into a country across the pond. So everyone's going to be a little nervous, a little uptight when you first get there. But I think getting that win will kind of loosen everyone up and get us ready to play the Bears.
Okay, so you said that you've had this trip circled for, weeks,
Yes.
if not months. I mean, look, this is your chance to make me feel good about where I live. Tell me why you're so excited to come here.
Well, all the Premier League teams, obviously. I've always wanted to go to Premier League match. I'm a big Man United fan, dating back to when Rooney, Ronaldo, Anderson, Ji-sung Park, Vidic,
Anderson.
yeah, Van der Sar. I mean, dude, you name it. All those guys. Nani. I mean, that was my
Nani.
team. I had a Wayne Rooney fat head in my room when I was growing up. So big United fan. Obviously, Manchester's a little far north from London, but just to kind of get over there and see the culture, something that I've always been excited about. And honestly, I just like the European culture. I think it's different. It's a switch up from the United States, and I've got buddies that I've played soccer with, and I've got coaches that I've played soccer with growing up that have been from. I got some Liverpool friends. I got a
Well, I'm a
buddy that
Liverpool
actually
fan,
plays.
man, so,
I got a buddy that actually plays for West Brom. I played club soccer with him growing up. His name's Daryl DK. He was played 2 years of college here, and then obviously got hit the transfer market, and he plays there now as well. So talked to him a little bit about it as well, and so just excited to get over there to the European culture.
are you going to be able to, visit any Premier League grounds at all? Or you got that in
I
mind?
want to so bad, so bad. I want to get locked into at least go out to a training session. I don't think there's any. Actually, there's a match going on Saturday before our last game. I'm pretty sure. I think Aston Villa plays somebody. I can't remember.
Fulham. They're playing
Yeah,
Fulham.
Fulham. But I want to get out to the training grounds. I don't. I mean, preferably Fulham because obviously we have ties with Fulham. That would be amazing. Go out there and ping it around, show my techers a little bit. Because I still got them. If you see the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
episode
yeah.
with Reese, I still got them a little bit. So obviously that would be ideal. I don't know if we can make that happen, but I've seen other, NFL teams get out there and, jersey swap with them. So that would be sick if I could do that.
I mean, playing at Wembley as well, I think that sometimes, I mean, I'm guilty of it as well because I'm a big, soccer fan as well as a big American football fan. I'm guilty of not kind of recognizing or not, appreciating that it really is like the home of football. It
Oh,
is
it
an
is.
iconic venue. How the fact that you get to play there must just be, mind blowing.
It's unreal. Like growing up, seeing all the high quality soccer matches that have gone on there and Champions League matches gone on there. It's like, dang, I mean, I've really grown up watching these matches, and I'm about to play in the same stadium as them. It's unreal. And I talked to my soccer buddies that because I didn't start playing football until like mid high school. Like I strictly grown up playing soccer. So they're like, man, you're really going over to play Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in Wembley, and I'm like, yeah, this is literally a dream come true, but not in the football aspect. I wanted to play in soccer. So it's sick, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can imagine. So, I
It's
mean,
unreal.
I'm jealous of you. Put it that way. Playing on Wembley, playing on the Wembley ground. How are you with flying? You know, are you going to be all right? Have you got that all sorted out? Like,
Yeah, I'm not too scared of plane flights. I grew up flying obviously domestically here in the United States. I mean, the longest flight I've probably taken is about 4.5 hours.
oh, you're going to beat
But
that.
yeah, it'll be a little longer than 4.5 hours. But I'm super excited. I mean, I don't really care about the plane ride too much. It won't bother me too much. I sleep pretty easy on planes, so not too worried about it.
Well, you mentioned earlier on that you were showing your techers to Reese, obviously
Yeah.
from Jaguars Weekly, um, and obviously you also taught him how to kick a field goal
Oh
as
yeah.
well, or you attempted to teach him how to kick a field goal. Anyway, you can watch that actually now on YouTube as well, so if you haven't caught it yet. But I want to know, does Reese have a future in kicking?
I'd say it's a tough question. I'm gonna give you my media answer, my real answer. Maybe if he worked on it a little more, he could, and then I'll give you my real answer. No, he does not have no, he does not have a future. But he did actually make a couple, and he was making good ball contact. So I'll give him that for the first time. That's pretty impressive.
Thanks so much for talking to me, man. I really appreciate it. Tell me about the one thing you're looking forward to most over the next couple of weeks in the UK.
Man, obviously getting, 2 wins. I want to beat the Bears and I want to beat the Patriots while I'm there. But that's my on the field goal, obviously, to get 2 wins, make all my field goals, do my job as a Jaguar. But honestly, going to a chip shop, a chippa, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
Uh,
Chipper.
I talked to LRZ a little bit
Chippy.
about it. Chippy, that's what it's called. Yeah. I talked to LRZ a little bit about it.
Has
And
he
he
been
was like,
telling you much about it all? Has he been telling
oh
you what you
man,
need to do? This is what you
I've
need to
got
do.
yeah, I've gotten to be good friends with him throughout this thing, and he's got some good spots that we need to visit. So thankfully, I'll have someone to show me around a bit.
Thanks so much for talking, man. Appreciate it and good
Yeah,
luck
of
over the
course.
next
Thank
couple of
you.
games. Cam Little there, game winner, and extremely excited to get over to the UK. And of course, we're really excited to see him. Really excited to. You could tell so immediately. I could tell from the smile on his face as well. Very excited to go and potentially see some football, some soccer. Super excited.
Yeah, we were talking to him about it in the summer, and big fan of soccer and
Man United fan, massive Man United
Man United.
fan.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a massive soccer fan, and they were
Yeah.
talking, and I was like, he knows way more about it than me, and I was like, oh yeah, great, yeah, lovely.
He's also just very excited to have a fish and chip supper. He said, "I'm really excited to go to a chipper." Yeah.
Oh,
I love it. I love it, Chippy. But you know what? I think that's
I
brilliant.
want to give him my debit card. And go, there you go, son.
It's like, right, let me tell you the best Chippy to go to in London. Yeah, really excited, and I feel really sorry for Reese as well because he wasn't necessarily the most positive about his.
The outtakes I have of Reese kicking field goals. We'll leave it at that.
Really excited to see him, and of course the rest of the Jacksonville Jaguars when they head over to the UK later on this week ahead of the game against the Chicago Bears this Sunday. Let's do Duval dispatches. Big one. It's always going to be a big one when we're in the run-up to these two games in London. Hot off the press, Key. The names confirmed for our player signing sessions on both Saturday the 12th and the 19th. You're going to love it.
Go on. I think you're going to love it.
You're going to love it. Brian Thomas Jr., Darnell Savage. They're going to attend the Fnatic store signing at Sports Direct Oxford Street on the 12th. And Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker will head to Mitchell and Ness, 140 Wardour Street on the 19th.
Those are some big names.
Those are some big names. You said that like really sarcastically in a way.
No,
there,
dude.
but I was about to say, they are genuinely very big names.
Yeah.
My advice is to arrive early, I think. It's fair to say that I think these signings are going to be very popular.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what happens when you are a team that consistently travels to the UK as well.
The queues get long, mate.
Yeah. We also have our regular pub takeover, which this year is in the Goldwood Pub, Old Jewellery Street in London, from 4 p.m. on the 12th and the 19th of October. Ton of fun stuff going on. We're talking alumni, we're talking cheerleaders, we're talking, of course, loads of Jacksonville Jaguars fans all together. Talking Jags, living Jags, being Jags. JP. Who else is going to be there?
This guy.
You might even see Kee as well there as well. There's also going to be a watch along on the Sunday the 13th.
Less people will go now. Less people will go.
Also, unfortunately, if you do go to the pub, you will have to spend time with Kee. I do apologise. The watch along Sunday the 13th of October. So maybe you don't have a ticket for the Bears game. You do have a place to go to cheer on the team in what's going to be, of course, a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, tickets to open practice sold out immediately. Instantly. So the lucky fans that will be in attendance on the Friday 18th are going to get an up close and personal experience. Only a handful of fans get in the UK, and it is always you always feel very lucky, don't you, to be able to witness those things.
I remember, so I used to go to them as a fan, and it was fantastic. And then I remember, this is so privileged, and I know it sounds that, but the first time that I was on the other side of the barrier, and I was only like 2 feet closer to the players, but it's just like being that close to them. It's fantastic, man. I love it.
And you get to watch exactly like what they're doing in practice and everything, and so you get to make massive judgments despite them really meaning nothing. And of course, every single week we have the show on Sky as well. What's going on this week, Kee?
This week we have two of the players that we've already mentioned. We've got a sit down with Trevor Lawrence, which is a nice chunky piece, and then we've got Trayvon Walker, Mr. 3 sacks and a forced fumble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the catchiest of nicknames, I'm not going to lie. Don't think it's going to
I'm putting it out
hang
there.
about.
I've hashtagged it on all my socials.
Yeah. That's literally the length of a tweet, though. Like, just that. It's too long. It's too long.
I did it as a thread.
Yeah, I did it as a thread. When and where?
Wednesday, Sky Sports NFL, 9 p.m, and then repeated throughout the week. And then all of the bits will be on the Jaguars UK YouTube channel.
Cool. One thing, one person that we are going to be speaking to a lot, you speak to on the TV show every single week. His name is JP Shadrick. He's over in London.
I just found out the JP stands for Jurassic Park.
No, shut up. Do you know what? For a second there, you're an idiot. I thought you were going to say something like John Paul or something, but no, you literally
That's what
just
I
go
guessed.
Jurassic Park.
It wasn't that.
Did you actually guess that? Anyway, JP Shadrick, you spoke to him earlier on. Should we hear?
Let's do it. Jags get first win of the 2024 season. You weren't in Jacksonville for it, JP.
Yeah, it was weird.
Is there any chance you're the problem?
I mean, are we on? Are we going to do this right now?
Yeah.
I mean, if you threaten me with a good time and I don't have to go back, okay, don't tell me twice. If they're winning, I'll do whatever I can to help the ball club. I'll just do that.
I love it.
That's fine.
I love it. We like having you over here anyway, man.
That's good.
So, how many times...
I just had to check. I didn't know if we were on here.
How many times have you been over here?
For what?
Let's say just for games.
For football.
So far, yeah.
Well, every game except the Dolphins Jaguars at Spurs. That was in 21.
21, yeah.
Because there was still a fear of if you caught positive COVID over here test, you had to be quarantined for 10 days or something. So,
Yeah, right.
So our broadcast team didn't go.
Okay.
And so that was the late field goal. The slider play to Chenault set up the long field goal, Urban's first win. We didn't come to that game, but we've been to every other game. So from 2013, the 49ers, when they scored 4 straight touchdowns to start the game, and every other game since then. So we've been here the whole time.
Amazing. Give me your top 3 moments on the field, and give me your top 3 moments off the field from any JP trip to London.
In Jaguar terms?
Yeah, so Jaguars on the field,
Yes.
3 moments.
Let's start with that.
And then JP off the field.
That's a lot to think about. Let's start with the football part of it.
I'm not messing about, JP. I'm going to give you a lot to think about.
Blake Bortles to Allen Hurns to beat the Bills.
Yeah,
that game was wild because the Bills rallied back and I think tied the game, and then Blake threw this crazy rolling left touchdown and got an elbow in, and it was the first win over here. That was a milestone moment, I think, for the Jaguars to finally get a winning result here. So I like that one a lot. I'll say the Bills game last year was big because the Bills are a team and still are a team that is a competitive and a team that should be a playoff team. And they came out here and pushed them around at Spurs, and I thought that was a big-time win for this team. 2017, they beat the hell out of the Ravens, 44-7, and Mercedes Lewis had 3 touchdowns in the game, and the Ravens wanted no part of this trip. They wanted no part of this country, the city that year, whatever that was, and the Jags just exploited it and dominated the game. And then, of course, went on from there to win the division and go to the playoffs and do the whole thing. So those are 3 on-the-field things for me. Now, off the field, we've had a lot, right? One year there was a Regent Street was closed for this fan rally, NFL fan rally, and there was a Jaguars stage right near Piccadilly Circus. So it was one of our first years here, and I'm hosting the Jags stage, right? But I'm like, I can't believe I'm standing here right now. It's Piccadilly Circus, and I'm interviewing Fred Taylor, and there's like, this is crazy. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
that was pretty neat. The first year, Mr. Khan had an event, I believe it was on Friday before the game, where he rented out the Tower of London.
Of course he did.
And right, because who doesn't? And they had this cocktail party thing in the armor room, and then you could see the crown jewels. That was a mind-blowing experience. And then
give me a personal one, JP, that's not related to football at all.
Oh, when I came a couple years in a row for the Hyde Park concerts, the British Summertime. I came a couple years in a row for that. So one year it was it was Lucas Nelson, Santana, Steve Winwood, and Clapton all on one bill. And the next year it was Bob Dylan and Neil Young as the headliners, and it was great. So I love that stuff in the summertime here. And of course I've come back a couple years in a row for the Open up north. So it's fun. I love it here.
Dude, when you're here for football, what's your favourite thing about game week that we do here that you don't get in Jacksonville?
My favorite part of the Wembley experience when the Jaguars have a home game is when I used to take a car or whatever, and then I realized, oh, that's stupid. I should get on the train and just go. Either way, you get off the train or the car, and you come over this hill, and there's the arch.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, now this is big. This is a big-time game because it's at 2:30 here. That means it's prime time going east, obviously, into Europe and beyond into Asia. So in theory, that's on television there in a prime time. And then it's the morning in the East Coast. And so literally the entire world can watch the game at somewhat of a decent hour. That blew me away the first time I saw it, with that arch over the horizon. Okay, we're at the big place now. This is fun.
When you're travelling over, do you come with the team, with the players?
A lot of times,
this year, obviously, but in the past.
Well, yeah, not this year. Yeah, most times.
Okay.
Last year, no, because there was a couple of events that I had to do before the team got here. So I came early and then came back with the team. This year I came early for the Jets-Vikings game on radio. So no. And then not going back with the team, leaving the day after the game. Anyway, so this is the 1 year I have not at least taken part of the trip with the team, yes.
Current roster, who would you most want to sit next to on the plane?
On the plane? Yeah. I mean, now, are we going over or coming back? Because going over, you got to sleep anyway. It doesn't matter who you sit by, right? Because everybody's asleep if you're coming over here, because you sleep overnight.
Is everyone asleep?
They should be, yes.
Foyer will be on doing the playbook, though. I know Foyer.
Probably
Foyer
so.
doesn't sleep.
He's
just studying the playbook the whole
Probably
time.
so. It's a good one.
Go on then, on the way back then. And let's say it's a win, so everyone's in a good mood.
Yeah, we definitely need that. That helps, the 9-hour flight going back when you win. I mean, Trevor's always fun to hang out with, right? I mean, it seems like he would be, sit there, watch a movie, whatever you do. I mean, especially if he's played well and things are going pretty good. It's always a good conversation with, like, Campbell and Cisco and those guys. They're pretty interesting. But I'm not talking to anybody for 9 hours straight. I'm not doing that. I mean, I talk for a living. I'm not doing it that long.
If I was on the plane, we'd do 9 hours straight.
Would we? Would we?
Man. We could like share earbuds and watch a
film
together.
That? You sure about that? I don't think so, man. I mean,
I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt.
No, you can watch your own movie. I'm good.
Okay, forget. Let's talk football. Bears this week.
Yeah.
What do the team need to do to win this game?
I mean,
Let's get a streak going. What do they need to do?
Well, I mean, their offense in the game against the Colts was fantastic. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence had a great day. 3 plays in the game over 60 yards. 2 of those passes and the run from Bigsby. So I mean, that big play offense is good, especially against a Colts team that doesn't really give up a lot of big plays. That's not how they play defense. So they got a few. They cashed in a few last week. Let's hope that a couple of those a game kind of flips things around. That helps a lot. And they ran the ball. I mean, Tank Bigsby had the big run, but they still did some other things. I don't think it was their best overall rushing day outside that one run, right? But okay, you can balance it out that way. And if the O-line plays fine. The defense, they slipped up at the end and gave up those late touchdowns, but you still had some pressure from Trayvon Walker, which was great to see. Josh Hines-Allen had a fumble and a recovery and a sack and all those things.
What happened in that fourth quarter, man? Why did that? What happened? Why did they fall apart?
I mean, it's wild, right? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Flacco's a veteran quarterback. There's probably a little bit of that in the back end, but Flacco's a good veteran quarterback, and they made the right play at the right time and outran the angle and a couple touchdowns. There you go. Now, on the other side, on the offense, when they had a chance to melt some clock and they're still up by 7, and they burned like a minute off the clock and had 3 incompletions. So that left a lot to be desired. But then they go down the field on their game-winning drive and get into field goal range for little. So there was some good and bad, but that's fine as long as they win. This is better to talk about this stuff with a winning result, because we've talked about this stuff with losses way too much, and that's when you get 3-word answers from the head coach after the game, and the locker room is a morgue. You don't want to walk in there. Yeah. These guys don't want to talk. That can be tough. So this is a good thing. There are things to work on always, and it's much better after a win.
So every week we have a fan on. We don't have a fan this week apart from you.
Oh, you're a fan. We got Jags stuff on.
I mean, is that that's what qualifies now?
I mean, if what are we doing?
I'm technically a fan. Okay, no. So every week, me, Jay, and a fan will predict what we think will be the result, including a score for the game. So, JP, what is your prediction for the Bears game? Jags win, Jags loss, and a score, please.
My prediction? Pain. Jaguars are going to come back to Spurs on a roll after the win from the Colts. I think they found something in the offense. Trevor Lawrence, the light maybe is turned on. I love that. Mm-hmm. Big player, too, against the Bears. Playing pretty good defense, but not this Sunday, because the Jaguars are going to go into Spurs and get the job done again. Now, remember, yes, Tank Bigsby had a big game last week, but Travis Etienne has his 2 top rushing games in his career in this city. Yeah. Number 1 was in the loss against Denver in 22 under the arch. And then last year against the Bills was his 2nd best yardage game in his career. So he apparently likes it over here. It might be a 2-headed running back room right now, but I like the Jaguars in this one, certainly. I score.
I need a score.
Give me 30-17 Jags on a roll right now. Got to play better defense, though, obviously, if they're giving up only 17.
I love this. JP, I will see you on the plane on the way back for our movie. What are we watching?
I failed to mention 2 Caleb Williams picks. What are we? I don't know.
Predictions are worse than mine.
What are we watching? I'm watching whatever I'm watching.
Any given Sunday. I'll see you on the plane any given Sunday.
Sounds like a plan.
JP Shadrick, who seems to want to watch a film with you on a plane.
He does.
Nice?
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
He doesn't.
I don't blame him. I reckon me and Cam Little could watch something, because I reckon we just put whatever football, either football would be fine. Whereas I think if I sat next to you on a plane and I wanted to talk about how Liverpool are doing or Man United, you'd be like, no, not bothered.
Liverpool need to cut out the middleman and just go over the top. I'm not even going to try.
No?
I'm not even going to try. Not even going to try. Look, we've spoken about the Indianapolis Colts game, of course. But now the Jags, they're flying over to London. Yep. First game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll do our predictions in a second. Okay. But we've got to talk about what's what we think the key things are in this game, because Chicago Bears had quite an interesting first few games in the season actually, because obviously they've got the rookie in Caleb Williams, who has looked faltering at times, but other times actually he's looked much more comfortable. And in the last game, granted it was against not the best team, the Carolina Panthers, but you can see that he's got that relationship with DJ Moore already. So with the number of points that the Jags sort of gave up in the last game, you don't want to feel like you're going against a quarterback that is actually finding his rhythm right now.
Yeah, it's like what you'd hope is that what happened in that fourth quarter, that's now lesson learned.
Done,
that doesn't happen again. To be fair, right, in the Colts game, the run defense was on point for most of the game, was on point. If that can happen, and then they can also get pressure on Caleb Williams, we're looking all right. Yeah,
and I also think that what the Jags have been good at, especially in the last game, but they have had Tank Bigsby especially, I think, is that the run game was very good, I think, in that last game.
Yeah.
And Chuba Hubbard for the Carolina Panthers, he had 97 yards, had a touchdown on the ground. You kind of think Bears defense wasn't looking so good on the ground. Maybe that's something that, especially having these two backs now that it looks like we've got confidence in, that hopefully that's something that the Jags can use to kind of ground and pound.
100%.
And then Trevor Lawrence isn't scared to air. Well, we've known this obviously already before this season. He's not scared to air it out, and he's now got somebody that seems to catch every ball that he's thrown at him. To be fair.
It's fantastic.
And Brian Thomas Jr. obviously.
Yeah, and
just to be clear,
Cam Little.
yeah.
Let's not forget, Trevor will be confident coming into London. He's got a fantastic record here. Caleb Williams has never played in London before, so that's a factor, I think. Travis Etienne has had both of his highest games in London, Broncos and then Bills. So again, super confident. Tank coming off that game. I just think, man, this offense could be flying this weekend.
This time last week when we were talking about the Colts, I was like, the Jags, surely they've got this. And I really think that there's opportunity. Look, of course we're going to be slightly biased. We can't say that we're not. We want the Jags to do well. There's no doubt about that. But these next couple games, you kind of feel like there's a real opportunity here. The season's not started well. No one can tell you otherwise. It's not started well.
Nope.
There's an opportunity here to get two wins on the bounce
100%.
in London, like they did last year. And last year, they played well and they played good teams as well.
Yeah.
Key matchup: Jags pass rush versus Caleb Williams. So basically, Jags, they need to get Caleb Williams uncomfortable, don't they? They need to get him uncomfortable. They need to make him turn the ball over. They need to make him have mistakes. And I think it's good that we really saw in that last game, two of the big weapons, I suppose, on that defensive line in Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker.
4 between them, right?
Yeah, I mean, but they even then even when you saw them, it was like they were coming together, you know. So those two having a good game, kind of just that's what they need. But the thing is, Caleb Williams, he is a good quarterback. You can see that he's going to have a really big future, and I think it's kind of interesting actually in this. And I wonder if this will be spoken about as well in the next few days. Is that the word generational? I think in terms of the NFL, in terms of quarterbacks, it's kind of banded around quite a lot, isn't it? But at the same time, the last one that was spoken about prior to Caleb Williams, which a lot of people did, was Trevor Lawrence. So now you've got these sort of two players that were taken obviously so high in the draft that were meant to be are meant to be the two big things for their teams facing up against each other. I think it's going to be quite a fun battle. Anyway.
I agree. And Jags aside, I'm a fan of Caleb Williams.
Oh, yeah.
On the field and off the field. I like the guy. I like his style. I like the way he.
But you want him to lose.
I want him to lose.
You want him to lose on Sunday.
Like him that much, Jay.
The predictions. We did all right last week because obviously we all three of us, including the fan, we said that the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to win.
I get a bonus point because I said by a field goal, so I get.
Did you actually say by a field goal?
By a field goal, yeah.
No.
Go back and review
you don't get a bonus point. You can't just change the rules. What we can do is I'll tell you what we'll do. In the next week, we'll have a discussion off air.
Okay.
Because it's too boring to be in a podcast. Right. We'll see if we can figure out some.
Half a point.
No, we didn't figure this out before.
0.25.
So we have got predictions from JP Shadrick for the game, and his was
JP predicted pain.
He predicted pain.
He said Jags win 30-17.
That's not pain. That's quite a nice day out. I don't know if that's pain. What's yours then? So he said 30-17, did he, JP?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
going 2010. I don't think the Bears get going.
2010.
2010.
I'm going to predict a more high-scoring game, actually. Yeah, I'm going to say they get more than 17. I think it might be something like, I'm going to say a nice 27-24 Jags victory.
Ooh,
I'll take that.
Okay.
Bit of entertainment on Sunday afternoon in North London.
Oh, nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm down for it, man. I'm down for it.
Let's see. Very excited. I mean, this is October is one of my favourite months, if not my favourite month, because of just the amount of NFL action it comes over here. The Jacksonville Jaguars, obviously, over the last couple of years, over here for a couple of weeks. So it's just, a nice time.
It feels
right
like
now.
a big party, and I get to see some of familiar faces, people that I see every year at these events. Yeah, it's like a little festival. It's great.
Big couple of weeks for Jags, big couple of weeks for Jags fans as well. We'll be back next week. This is a Shooting Sharp production for Jacksonville Jaguars UK and Ireland. Remember, if you are listening on your podcast, make sure you subscribe. We're also on YouTube as well, so go subscribe there. And, come and say hello at Spurs.